Assalamu alaikum students. Feel very here. We are in between chapter 5, and chapter 5 is about issues related to agricultural sector of Pakistan. We have already discussed that there are 5 issues that are part of chapter 5. Out of those 5 issues, we have already discussed water problem, the shortage of water problem, the problem of water shortage, and the problem of agricultural pricing policy. I have already told you that we will not discuss the problem of rural credit in detail, just because the gist, the summary, or the main points of rural credit availability problems were discussed in the Green Revolution and agricultural pricing policy also. So we do not need to consume time in looking at the data. And the last issue is of mechanization. So I will talk about mechanization better. At the moment, in this lecture, I am going to cover the problem of income tax in Pakistan. Uh, Basically, in Pakistan, agricultural income is almost income tax exempted. It is it is basically a provincial issue, and provinces have not been very efficient in, in when it comes to collection of taxes. I do not attempt to write ना जब मैं लिखने की कोशिश करता हूँ तो फिर recording disturb. And whether to impose tax on a sector or not, it is an economic concern. It is simply an economic issue. But in Pakistan, whether to impose tax on agriculture or not, it has been made a political issue. And when it's become a political hot issue, it becomes difficult to resolve it, just because the different faction of population, they become adamant an obstacle to resolve the problem. Just because they do not want to get it resolved on the basis of rationality, instead they want to get it resolved by using their political power and pressure. So unfortunately, in Pakistan, whether to impose tax on agricultural income or not has been a political issue. It is a chronic issue, and this is something that divides our population, that divides Pakistan into rural and urban faction of population. In order to make my point clear, even the MNAs, the member of parliament from different parties, they are not united on the issue. For example, People's Party, PML and PTI, these are the large parties in Pakistan. So their MNAs and senators belonging to rural sector are normally, you will find them opposing the idea of taxing agricultural income. While the MNAs and member parliaments of the same parties belonging or coming from urban background, you will find them supporting the idea of imposing tax on agriculture. Unfortunately, the issue hasn't been resolved since long. So, in order to understand the issue, we need to understand the point of view of both the groups, the urban group and the rural group. So first of all, I am starting from the points against. Points against the idea of imposing tax on agriculture. And obviously, this has to come from rural background. And these points were very eloquently, very suitably. These were summarized by NCA report that was published in 1988, National Commission for Agriculture. NCA stands for National Commission for Agriculture. It was published in 1988. These points have been summarized there. According to that report, a great number of farmers in Pakistan is a great number of farmers in Pakistan is consist of small farmers. It consists of small farmers. Obviously, they do not earn sufficient income to be impose tax on them. ठीक है, तो ये कहते हैं कि द ग्रेट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ फार्मर्स इन पाकिस्तान, अ ग्रेट नंबर ऑफ फार्मर्स इन पाकिस्तान इज पुअर, दे डू नॉट अर्न मच मनी, सो दे कैन नॉट बी टैक्स्ड। सही है कि ये बात तो आपको भी समझ आ रही होगी, मुझे भी आ रही है, कि जिसकी इनकम ही टैक्सेबल नहीं है, व्हाई व्हाई दैट पर्सन शुड बी टैक्स ना। तो पहला पॉइंट तो इनका ही है। ये कहते हैं कि a great number of farmers in Pakistan are are poor. They do not earn sufficient level of income, so they should not be taxed or they cannot be taxed. Okay, ठीक है। फिर ये कहते हैं even the large size farmers, the large landlords, they cannot be taxed. And why can't they be taxed? They give you a very interesting reason. ठीक है, the reason is that Pakistan, I mean, I have already shared with you people that Pakistan is a dry, warm country. Our rainfall is irregular, and that creates, and our 70%, 60-70% agricultural activity is a dependent function of rainfall. So I repeat, our 70-80, our 60-70% of agricultural activity depends upon rainwater. And the rainfall in Pakistan is irregular and it is less than our domestic requirement. So this has created a weather cycle in Pakistan. A weather cycle where agricultural performance fluctuates. For example, it is very common for farmers to have a bad crop year. During the bad crop year, their crop is spoiled, they incur losses. And even the large farmers, just because they incur losses, they should not be and cannot be taxed. Okay? Fair-minded people in our country would say, okay, when one incurs losses, obviously one should not be taxed. But what about profitable years? So this report says that even during good crop year, it is impossible to tax them just because income tax is imposed on annual income, and during good crop year, farmers' annual income is not just 1 year income, it is spread over many years. For example, during the good crop year, part of farmers' profit will be used in paying past debt, the debt that was accumulated during the past bad crop year. And the part of the good crop year profit has to be saved for future bad crop year. Just because in Pakistan there is a weather cycle on, it is very common for farmers to suffer from a bad crop year, then to enjoy a profitable good income year, and to again suffer from a bad crop year. So during the good crop year, their annual profit is at least spread over 3 periods, and and income tax is imposed on annual income. So according to the report, it is unfair to tax even large landlords. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द पॉइंट्स, इनके पॉइंट समझने की कोशिश करें पहले। फिर ये कहते हैं कि एग्रीकल्चरल सेक्टर इज वेरी वेरी लार्ज एंड इट इज स्प्रेड far and wide in Pakistan. Farmers are scattered all over Pakistan. So it might be a loss of money even to contact them for the collection of tax. The cost that we will incur in collection of tax may exceed the actual tax collection. So it will be a zero-sum game for even for the government, and farmers will become worse off. Point number 4. They say that farmers are normally, sir, as of today, farmers are not illiterate largely. There is a number, but farmers are not illiterate. But farmers are not habitual of maintaining a proper record of their income and expenditure. In the absence of proper record of income and expenditure, it is impossible to assess their net income. And when there is no way to assess the net income, how can they be taxed? Just because income tax rate is applied on the net income. So according to them, just because of the absence of income and expenditure record of farmer, it is very, very hard to tax them. Last point is, just because of income tax exemptions, farmers normally do not hide their income. When you introduce tax on their income, they will start avoiding tax payment and in order to avoid tax payment, they will start not showing their actual income, and this will incur heavy losses on Pakistan economy. Pakistan की GDP कम हो जाएगी. So according to the report, these are the points, and these are not out of sense. These are not all irrational points. There is some substance in it also. According to the report, it is agricultural income should not be taxed. Now moving on, I have said you that the urban population, the urban fraction of population in Pakistan, they are in favor of imposing tax on agriculture. Why? Their point of view was recorded by another report published in 1986. Both reports were compiled during the Zia period. And this report was the commission that prepared that report is known as NTRC. NTRC 1986. The report was published in 1986. NTRC stands for National Tax Reform Commission. National Tax Reform Commission. This report summarizes the points in favor supporting the idea of taxing agriculture. The point number one is, according to them, it is okay, it is correct that large number of farmers is poor. Very, many farmers are poor. According to them, that's correct. But still, there are many large landlords, they enjoy good income, they enjoy a very luxurious lifestyle, they should be taxed. According to point number two, there were two land reforms in Pakistan, we haven't yet studied them. And both land reforms, according to the feudals, large landlords, there have been two land reforms in Pakistan, and as a result of those two land reforms, with large landlords, the number of large landlords has been significantly reduced. So when there are no large landlords left in Pakistan, why they should be taxed? This NTRC report says that large landlords were clever enough to save their land from two land reforms. There is still a significant number of large landlords in Pakistan. They should be taxed. The point says that as a result of mechanization, farmers have become very business oriented. They have managed to establish fruit farms and vegetable gardens. And with mechanized production, with mechanized methods, they achieve better yield. And due to better yield means higher level of crop. And just because of better yield, they enjoy better level of income. They should be taxed. Farmers have established fruit farms and vegetable gardens with mechanized methods. They enjoy better yields, and this better yield results in high level of income. They should be taxed. The other point is about okay. चलिए मैं पहले ही बता देता हूँ ना. According to the point number 4, many people from rural areas, they have investment in Pakistani urban sector. They have started to living here. They have heavy investment in real estate. जमीन की अहमियत इनसे ज़्यादा कौन जानता है. Now, just because their income is agricultural, they do not pay a significant amount of tax, and they are living side by side with their urban counterparts. And when, especially the urban salaried class, they have become jealous of them just because they see that their income level is not equal to to their neighbor coming from rural background, but the person coming from rural background, they do not pay income taxes, while the urban salaried class with low level of income has to pay a large amount of tax. This has created jealousy among people, and I have told you people that any policy that creates disintegration among discontents among people from each other, that disintegrates people is not a good policy. So just because the policy is not is disintegrating the nation of Pakistan, so this should be reversed and agricultural income should be taxed. Then their last point is just the opposite of the last point of NCA report. The last point of NTRC report, the urban sector report says that the introduction of income tax on agricultural income will in fact reduce the problem of tax averseness. Tax averseness means tax avoidance, not to pay taxes. They say that by exempting agricultural income from income tax, what government has done, they have created a loophole in the Pakistani tax structure. And every big fish in Pakistan, whether coming from rural sector or hailing from urban sector, is taking unfair advantage of it. How come? Take the case of urban class. In urban society, rich people are normally produ- industrialists, importers, exporters, traders, factory owners, career. These are the people who enjoy a very high level of income. But what they are doing, and they are taking unfair advantage of this tax, agricultural income tax exemption. What they do normally, they purchase a small farm area. That farm is basically a fake farm. They use it for picnic, for parties, but they grow insignificant level of vegetable crops also. And what they do, they show their enormous profit generated by urban activities as their farm income. And by doing so, they avoid tax payment. So not only large landlords, but every highly rich person in Pakistan is taking unfair advantage of this income tax exemption of agricultural income. So if the government imposes tax on agriculture, it will immensely benefit Pakistan. That's because the loop would vanish. The loophole would not be further available to people. Okay. So these are the 5 points of points in favor of NTRC. Now, to conclude, you should realize, बच्चों, that both sides have some rationality in it. ऐसा नहीं है कि दोनों ही नामाकूल हैं, तो दोनों में से एक बिल्कुल nonsense है. No, they have substance. So now we have, as I have said you, a good policy is a policy which works as an incentive for producers to produce more, and it creates a win-win situation for different faction of population, for different stakeholders. So, so I am giving you a conclusion in 3 points. You may suggest a different solution. It should have some economic rationality. Okay? My solution. My first point is simple. When there is income, there should be income tax. भाई जब taxable income है तो tax pay करो ना यार. ये क्या झगड़ा खड़ा कर दिया कि ये income agricultural है कि non agricultural है. When there is income, there should be income tax on it. My first point. But you cannot ignore the vulnerable dependency of agricultural sector on weather cycle. It really has a great impact on their productivity. So what government has to do something to protect farmers. And my suggestion is in 2 points. Government should fix a minimum subsistence land holding for imposing income tax. And the suggestion by agricultural technocrats experts is that the A category, A type of land, the 12.5 acres of type A land should be fixed as a minimum subsistence level of agricultural income to be taxed. I repeat, according to this suggestion, there are 4 or 5 types of land in Pakistan on the basis of productivity. ठीक है, ये तो आप समझते होंगे ना. तो जो सबसे फर्टाइल लैंड है, इट इज ना, आई एम कॉलिंग इट टाइप ए लैंड. टाइप बी इज लेस फर्टाइल, टाइप सी इज फर्दर lesser in terms of productivity. So according to this suggestion, 12.5 acres of category A land should be the minimum land holding for imposition of income tax. Any farmer owning land less than 12.5 acres or equal to the productivity of type A land in some lesser productivity area should not be taxed. कोई भी farmer जिसकी जमीन 12.5 एकड़ से कम हो टाइप ए कैटेगरी में, या किसी और अगर इलाके में है जहां पर लेस फर्टाइल लैंड है, तो 12.5 एकड़ ऑफ टाइप ए कैटेगरी के इक्वल जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है उसके बराबर अगर उसकी प्रोडक्शन नहीं है तो उस पर टैक्स नहीं होना चाहिए. For example, the productivity of Dadu lands is obviously less than the category A land of Narowal or Lahore. तो अब अगर, for example, अगर कोई type A land in Punjab, it produces 100 tons of production अपना using 12.5 acres of land, and in southern Punjab a lesser fertile land produces 100 tons of production using 30 acres of land. So in that southern Punjab lesser fertile area, income tax would not be imposed on farmers having less than 30 acres of land. तो ये यानी टाइप सिर्फ 12.5 एकड़ नहीं देखेंगे, मोस्ट फर्टाइल जो सॉइल है उसकी प्रोडक्टिविटी देखेंगे 12.5 एकर्स की, और जो लेस फर्टाइल एरिया है वहां उतनी ही प्रोडक्शन के बराबर लैंड होल्डिंग पर टैक्स लगेगा. तो दिस इज फेयर. And again, you cannot ignore the impact of adverse effect of weather cycle on agricultural output. So, in order to protect farmers from loss incurred by natural calamities, what government should do? Government should provide insurance cover to the rural loans. Banks should be encouraged to extend loan to farmers. Banks would be hesitant just because of the high risk factor in agricultural sector. तो अब ये बैंक्स की हेसिटेशन रिलक्टेंस कैसे खत्म करें? इंश्योरेंस कवर शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. इफ देयर अकर्स एनीथिंग that was out of control of farmer and it spoils their income, government has to provide insurance cover that will save banks from incur heavy losses and they will be willing to extend loan to farmers. ये खत्म हो गया है. आप इसको देख लीजिएगा. यू कैन आस्क क्वेश्चंस, नो इशू. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब मैं इसी में आपको बता रहा हूँ. देखें, मैंने कहा रूरल क्रेडिट का तो इशू आपने नहीं समझना ना, उसकी जरूरत नहीं. वो मैं वजह बता चुका हूँ. ठीक है, हम पहले ही इसको कर चुके हैं. मैं वाटर प्रॉब्लम कर चुका हूँ. एग्रीकल्चरल का भी प्रॉब्लम हो गया है. मैकेनाइजेशन एक रह गई है प्रॉब्लम. दिस हैज टू बी रेड बाय यू पीपल, बाय योरसेल्व्स. एक बॉक्स है 5.6 है या 5.8, the problem of mechanization, and it is a very simple box giving 5 advantages of mechanization using modern techniques in agricultural activity and giving 5 points, 5 negative points of increased mechanization in agricultural activity. Just go through that. That will remain part of midterm and final exam. And this concludes our chapter 5. Thank you.